This is a question for my HR people. If this landed on your desk tomorrow, how confident would you feel? Now, knowing you lot, majorly confident, I'd say, but what about managers? Managers of the organisation you work in or have worked in, your clients' managers, the general population of leadership and management. Comment, message me, or let me know when we chat. Here is the situation. If one of those managers had a request for reasonable adjustments land on their desk today, would they already know what to do? Because in that moment, even the words that are said can have devastating consequences. This matters. That employee wants to work with you, but they need some adjustments. And in the eyes of the law, they are entitled to request those and for consideration to be given. The reasons for them wanting these adjustments in the first place, they could be wide and varied. I personally have seen adjustments being made for people experiencing family critical illness, childcare issues caused by divorce. Someone I know had reasonable adjustments when an elderly parent died and they became the primary carer. I've come across cases where younger adults have requested changes to comply with the law. That one was someone wanting to drive within the hours allowed on their black box insurance. They'd become fed up with the piss being taken, elongated days, extra hours being piled on them, risking losing your insurance. That is not cool, kids. Asking for reasonable adjustments without fear of losing your job or your hours, that, mate, is totally reasonable. So the question again, HR people, I'm leaning on you now for is, do managers know what to do, yes or no? And if they don't, how quickly can they get support? Where will they go? How easy is it to access that support? And what does the response time actually look like? Get this shit wrong, people, and we know what happens. Now, the reason I ask these questions is I'm genuinely interested. It's been a fair few years since my days back in DPG. That was the beauty of leading qualifications for the CIPD. Back then, I had 10,000 HR professionals all within a community to ask. Lots of facilitators specialised in HR. I'd have just popped a case study like this out there and we'd have had an insightful discussion on it. It would have been shared up and down the country in group workshops for the benefit of HR professionals studying at any level, from HR admin all the way through to HR director in big organisations. Fortunately, these days I'm still connected to many, and if you're watching this, I may have even sent you a link to it. Because what's nice in the HR community is how people help each other in and out of work. I've seen several cases where HR professionals have supported the family members of others. It could be somebody going through some traumatic experience at work or some employment law wrangles. It could be a young person who needs some career counselling. I've seen HR professionals help with their knowledge in non-HR situations too. One of my favourites was seeing a HR professional help a family stand up to a bunch of bullies at the school. And here, we're talking about the fucking teachers. So, yes, one reason for going live today was to ask that question, develop myself, and also get some things off my chest. So, yes, HR people, please do let me know. How do managers know these days how to deal with situations in the workplace impacting on humans, and how do they get supported? Please do let me know. The reason I'm sitting with that question is because I don't think this is a competence problem. I think this is actually a support and an access problem. Most managers I've worked with want to do the right thing. They're not trying to be careless. They are not trying to be cruel. They are trying to juggle people, pressure, targets, and situations that they were never trained for in the first place. Most people are not dicks. Some are, but they're easy to spot within your management team. And if you're not doing that, well, shame on you. So when something like a reasonable request lands, it's not about intention, it's about what help is actually available in that moment. And that's the bit that's got my attention. Not the policy, not the theory, but the gap between a situation landing on a desk and a manager knowing what to say, what to do, and where to turn next. And all of this, I want to be really clear, I am not talking about building another let's talk about leadership program, or how not to be a dick for managers course, or another piss poor appraisal system, or some one-off training from a local solicitor. No, what I am interested in is how managers get support in the moment that it actually matters, not 2 weeks later, not after HR have already had to mop something up, not once the damage is done, in the moment. Managers are not lawyers. They are not HR specialists. They're humans, managing humans under pressure, and expecting them to just know what to do without any support is setting everybody up to fail. And if that is happening on your watch, oh, you can take that as you will. So the things that I'm exploring in my work right now look more like modern solutions for today's world and not some antiquated solutions from the past. We're talking about things like knowledge bases, rich sources of information that mean managers don't need to plough through a course workbook. They didn't really need to attend the course in the first place. Answers to actual real scenarios that are in context, not some generic PowerPoint deck from Mary's legal secretary. Support that actually directs us to the right information and not around the World Wide Web, drawing on information that might not be accurate. Instead, using tech to bring about access to solutions in the moment, still with a human touch, and not hiding behind tech, not hiding behind tech to give all the answers. We still need that mentoring, that group discussion, that one-to-one, that collaboration, and that personalized support. But what I'm talking about here is almost like a modern line manager college, available when the situation lands and not 6 months later. Focused learning, not broad training, not theory. The stuff that actually makes a difference in the moment in which it is needed. What do you say first? What do you not say? When do you pause? When do you escalate? And yeah, I guess AI has a role to play here, but not the bullshit kind. Not the AI that makes things up. Not AI that gives confident answers that are legally a bit shaky. AI that simply helps people find the right internal resources, signpost the correct process, and says very clearly, this is where you stop and you get involved as a human. So yes, I'd love some conversation around this in the comments, in my inbox, and ideally in my diary. Let's have a cup of tea and chat like old friends again. Because here's the thing, even if you and I spoke 2 years ago, trust me, things have changed a lot. The tech is different, you know this. The expectations are different, and the pressure on managers is also very different. So this isn't me doing a pitch. This is me doing what I've always done in the learning and development space, which is to develop my own understanding to help others, talking to people who are closer to the work than I am, and bouncing ideas around that might actually help. Because if we can put this sort of shit to bed early, if we can stop situations escalating just simply because somebody didn't know where to turn, that absolutely feels worth talking about, especially when human beings and their health and well-being are at stake. Leave me a comment, drop me a message, reply if I've invited you to do so, and let me know what you think. We'll talk soon.
Are you a business owner with your head in your hands, stressed out trying to keep up with technology's demands. Whether you're part of a team or a one-person band, where on earth do you focus to deliver your plans? Are you nervous to progress with all the options out there? Well, let me introduce you to a breath of fresh air, a way for you to reach your organisational dreams. Teach yourself some digital skills and all that it means. Come up with some schemes, but don't assume it will be easy to create content and manage communities. So how do you scale? How do you multiply yourself? How do you create an offer that people can buy off the shelf? Make some serious money that might lead to some wealth. Introducing AD House, there's really no one else. Technology's moving fast, so don't get left behind. Click the link below and join AD's digital tribe.